All right, working on some polynomials here, and we're taking a look at, in this one, we got a whole bunch of terms there. Polynomial is in standard form because the highest degree and then decreasing degree as you go. With a leading coefficient out here would be 1, since there's nothing in front of that x to the 4th. And we are supposed to use a table of values to estimate the intercepts and turning points. You know, we could do that, but quite honestly, I feel like that would be wasting your time. And because that's a whole bunch of guess and check, trial and error, plugging numbers in. And you may certainly go through and do that if you'd like, but I will show you a quicker way to get to our answer. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hop on over to Desmos here. See my tab, I've got it open. And I wrote down that problem so I could add this in here. X, shift 6 to get into my exponent 4th. Arrow to the right to get out of there. And then I wrote a minus, I think, on that 2x cubed. And a minus 16. X to the 2nd. A plus 2x. Hope I got this all typed right. And a plus 15. So the graph looks something like this. I'm going to just make a sketch of it here just so that we don't have, I can see kind of what we had. Looks like a giant W kind of. The x-axis kind of going across down here somewhere. My y-axis coming right down, sort of like that. And then my points here. If I come over here and click on those, what are all these numbers? Those are key points. And my y-intercept maybe be a key point. Oh shoot, I just zoomed in and then lost where my graph was. So that's, now I wanted to, sometimes there's a button over here that will zoom right onto the graph to make it fit on your page, but I don't see that button. So if we have to do it manually, you can come up here, and our X's are what I feel like are spread out. If I went from -5 to like +6 over here, it would fit. And again, there was 2 points up here that I didn't even notice before. Off my screen, let's see. One of them is the y-intercept, and right next to it is the vertex. So there's all my points. And let's see, I'm going to add those numbers onto my sketch over here that I drew. So if I go back to Savas, I can know what these numbers were. So those are my 4x intercepts. Up here, I had a y-intercept at 0.15. And then my vertex was at 0.06 to 15.062. All right. So now let's use those to go back and answer our questions that they're asking in Savas. So in Savas, the x-intercepts, and they just want them listed separated by commas, it says, I believe. So -3, -1, 1, and 5. That should take care of that. And then I think they were expecting you, it said, to use like x to just estimate. And it's like, oh my goodness, that's all. And then the y-intercept, it said was 0.15. Type an integer or decimal, so you don't need an order pair. And then lastly, they're asking us, where all do the turning points happen? So like If I go back to Desmos, maybe it would be easier actually. So a turning point on this graph, it's referring to like this bump up here would be a turning point. And the x's, it was between 0 and 1 where that happened from x value. And then if we went down here on the bottom, because down at these two bumps on the bottom would be turning points as well. So this one down here on the bottom, can't get my mouse, right there. So negative 2.215. So that's like between negative 2 and negative 3, right? So there's my negative 2, there's my negative 3, and then you still can't even see that lowest point yet. Maybe we could just make the y's go lower here. Maybe 50 would do it. Nope, 150. There we go. And see where that turning point is. So between 3 and 4. So that's what the turning points are. Now we have to go back, and then the one up the top was between 0 and 1. So what does Savas show for our options for the turning points? Let me clear off. Now, kind of like negative 1 to 1 here. Negative 1 to 1. 0's between there. So I think that would be what we would use for that one. Negative 2 to negative 3. Negative 2 to negative 3 would be in this range for these two. And then between this 3 and 4, which one would be from 1 to 5, 3 and 4 would be in there. And so that is your turning points. So sorry, that took a little bit longer to explain there, but hopefully that helps you. Again, you've always got at the bottom your help me solve this as well. Now, which graph looks like our Desmos graph? So we've got that W opening up. So the last two options are for sure out, right? These open down. Oops, can't say that. Take those C and D out. And then what's the difference of these other two? It was the right side that dipped down lower when we were just in there right now. So it's got to be A. All right, so hopefully that helps you out there. Good luck. Stick with it. There's lots of resources other than the view and example help me solve this. You've got a whole bunch of options where you can search for it on YouTube yourself. I'd love it nothing better than if you figure it out even with